plant-based vegan versus bulletproof keto diet. Which one of these options is better? If you just give me a couple minutes of your time, I'm going to show you exactly which one of those options is the right one for you. Because in the past, I've tried both. And trust me, there's one clear winner here. So we'll be looking first at the differences between those two ways of eating. And then we're going to compare those two things, those two ways of eating, based on three pillars. Number one, weight loss. Second is health, meaning anti-nutrients, toxins, exposure to hormones. Third thing we're going to be comparing is performance and focus. So are you ready? Let's jump into it. So what is the bulletproof diet? According to the website, you eat lots of healthy fat, high quality protein, and minimal carbohydrates. Quote, it's designed to melt body fat, improve focus, and boost your overall performance by limiting your exposure to anti-nutrients, toxins, hormones, and other junk that makes you weak. So what is the difference between a bulletproof keto diet and the keto diet? The difference is that in the bulletproof keto diet, you have 1 day of protein fasting, which means where you have a little bit more carbohydrates during the day than on the keto diet. The difference is also that the bulletproof diet has a slightly higher fat content of about 50 to 70% of total calories coming from fat. A plant-based vegan diet, on the other hand, is a way of eating that excludes all animal products. It focuses on vegetables, whole grains, nuts, and seeds, and fruits, obviously. Most people go vegan not for performance-enhancing effects, but mainly due to concerns of the ethical nature of our food production. But since the last couple of years and documentaries such as Game Changers or What the Health, more and more people are following this lifestyle because of concerns about their health. So let's differentiate these two things, okay? Number one, weight loss. What you need to know about weight loss is weight loss in its essence boils down to if you are in a caloric deficit or not. If you're not in a caloric deficit, you will not lose your weight. If you're eating less calories than your body needs, meaning you are in a caloric deficit, you will lose your weight. It's as simple as that. It all boils down to being in a caloric deficit, making sure you eat less energy. That's what calories are. Calories are a unit of energy than your body actually needs. A nutrition professor in 2010 has doubled down on this fact because he has lost weight on a Twinkie diet. So Twinkies are essentially like a high sugar candy that is, like, for most people obviously not optimal for weight loss, but because he managed to be in a caloric deficit while eating Twinkies only, he has managed to lose about 27 pounds. So if you're looking at those two diets, which ones are more likely to give you more calories? What we need to understand about the macronutrients that we're eating on a daily basis is that carbohydrates, fats, and proteins are not created equal. Protein and carbohydrates have 4 calories for 1 gram of its essence, of the macronutrient, while the other macronutrient fat has 9 calories of 1 gram of its parts. So it stands to reason that a diet that focuses more heavily on fat is likely to be less optimal for weight loss, especially because fat is also less satiating than carbohydrates or protein. Another part that is also important for satiety is how much fiber we're eating in a single day or in a single meal. So the more fiber you're eating in a meal or in a day, the more satiated, the more full you feel. And fiber are part of carbohydrates, which means, again, the more carbohydrates you eat in a day, it needs to be healthy carbohydrates. Obviously, there's no fiber in Twinkies, but like in healthy carbohydrates, there's a lot of fiber, which gives you the natural satiety response. So if we look at bulletproof keto diet, which focuses heavily on fat and doesn't have a lot of fiber, versus a plant-based vegan diet, which focuses on carbohydrates and has a lot of fiber, we have to give the clear winner here to the plant-based vegan diet. The second thing is regards to health. Now, the quote of the bulletproof diet is that it reduces your exposure to anti-nutrients, toxins, and hormones. Now, is this actually the case? What are anti-nutrients, what are toxins, and what are hormones? Anti-nutrients are substances produced by plants which kind of is like their defense mechanism to not get eaten by predators, such as us. The problem here in thinking is that not only do plants produce those anti-nutrients, also meat or animals produce anti-nutrients, because obviously animals also don't want to get eaten. So the anti-nutrients in animals is more like cortisol, lactic acid, like stress hormones that we can find directly in our food supply. So just because we're eating grass-fed beef doesn't mean that we are completely absent for the hormonal exposure. Maybe we don't have the artificial hormonal exposure that we get from factory farms, so animals that are fed with antibiotics or animals that are fed with exogenous testosterone, for example, but we still have the hormonal exposure from the stress of slaughter of the animal. Also, the more genetic proximity there is between you as a eater and the food that you eat on a daily basis, the higher the chance that actually like the food can influence your own body chemistry. For example, if you look at infectious diseases, like a lot of infectious diseases, including AIDS, stem from bushmeat, which means people working in the jungle, for example, then eating bushmeat, meaning chimpanzees, wild-caught apes along the way. So AIDS actually stem from chimpanzees. And when we eat chimpanzees, there's a high likelihood that this infectious disease can jump over to our organism. Now, this chance is lower in foods that have a higher genetic difference than us. So if we just eat like some broccoli, broccoli has not a lot of genetic overlap like with our DNA. So in relation to the health aspect, there's a clear winner here, and it's a plant-based vegan diet compared to the keto diet. So 2 points for the plant-based vegan diet. Now, the third thing is focus and performance. Now let's boil this down. What is focus? Focus is really the absence of its opposite. And the opposite is distraction. Now, how can you get distracted when you're working or when you're focusing on a specific task? One of them certainly is health concerns. Also, if you have low-grade inflammation, there's likely less availability for your brain to be focusing correctly on a task, which means the more likely you are to experience chronic diseases, and the more likely you are to have like an injury or low-grade inflammation in your body, maybe something that you're not even aware of, the less likely is it that you have the full capacity for focusing. Which means we have to look at those two diets and then look at, okay, which one has a higher rate of inflammation and which one is proven to reduce chronic disease. And what is actually proven, like the only diet that is proven to ever reduce chronic disease, reduce the chances of heart disease by reducing cholesterol, is a plant-based vegan diet. Also, another part to focusing on high performance is proper blood flow. And because a part of reducing heart disease is making sure that we don't have a lot of cholesterol, a lot of plaques in our arteries, is increasing the blood flow. So the more blood flow we have to our cerebral capacity up here, the higher the chances that we're capable of focusing properly, the higher the chances that we have high performance. Because also not only is the blood flow to our brain increased and to our heart increased, also there's higher blood flow to our skeletal muscle system. So point number 3, the winner here again is a plant-based vegan diet, just because its constituent parts are way better at reducing the risk of low-grade inflammation, like reducing the chance of us having a distraction when we're looking to focus, and also to increase our blood flow, which therefore increase our work output. So based on these 3 things, the clear winner is a plant-based diet. It is more beneficial when it comes to weight loss. It is more beneficial when it comes to your health. And the third thing, it's more optimal when it comes to focus and performance. If you like this video, don't forget to smash the like button. If you want to see more videos like this, subscribe to this channel, and I'll see you guys next time.